Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Melissa Jensen. I'm the Director for Housing and Neighborhood Development, and I am so pleased and honored to welcome you to this great city. Today we're here to talk about growing SLC. Cities are known for planning and plans, and Salt Lake City does a tremendous job of planning. But when we started under the mayor's leadership of a plan to truly address the affordable housing crisis, we wanted to make sure that it was a plan that did something, that made a difference, that we could look at a person at the end of the day and say their life is better because we invested in the time to do this right. So today we're here to talk about this plan and the progress that's been made on it since its adoption at the end of last year. The plan itself lays out a number of comprehensive solutions and policies to address the lack of affordable housing. You can talk to anybody today and they will have a story of their struggle. For me, this struggle isn't new. I remember thinking to myself, well, isn't it a normal thing that you share a room with your mother until you're 15? That is not normal, I will tell you, but it is normal for many families that struggle to keep a roof over their head like I did when I was young. So for me, this is not only a plan, it's quite personal, and I feel so grateful to have the support of the city and the mayor and a wide range of developers who help us do this work. So to get to the thick of it, what I'd like to share with you, just to kick us off before I let the mayor break the big news about what we're here to announce today, is we've been working really hard to do this plan, and we have several milestones that we've achieved that we believe are truly going to make a difference in our city for creating and sustaining and preserving affordable housing. The first is zoning. Zoning is a big piece, and what we've done is we've modified the transit station area zoning to increase points for affordable housing. Our planning division and the city as a whole recognizes this as an issue that we're addressing. The second is when the mayor came into office, she was committed to forming a Blue Ribbon Commission. And under that commission's leadership, we are confident about the permanent supportive housing that we have in the pipeline that will help address the closing of the shelters, and most importantly, creating a space and a home where people can live permanently with the support that they need. And these are really for folks that are exiting homelessness. We also have identified a long-term and sustainable funding source with the collaboration between the mayor and our city council to use some of the sales tax to invest in affordable housing. And that money is going directly to fund Growing SLC. We also created an affordable land, community land trust, and to date we have 6 single-family homes in that trust. What that means is that those homes will be affordable forever in perpetuity. That, for me, is truly a dream of home ownership. And then lastly, a major accomplishment to date is that we launched the Affordable Housing Renovation Pilot that was launched for landlords to improve the quality of affordable rental units. We have to preserve as well. All of these are just one step in the right direction. We have 5 years to work on this plan, and what we understand is there's no one single solution, but a myriad, and the city is deeply, deeply committed to this issue and finding the best solution. And so with that, I'll turn it over to the mayor of Salt Lake City, Mayor Biskupski.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. It always helps to have experts on your team. So thank you, Melissa, for joining our team and for helping us bring to fruition the Growing SLC plan. And thank you to all of you for coming today. This is a big moment, and this is a very unique space. Kudos to Dan Loughran, who helped create this space. When we first released Growing SLC, I spoke about how Salt Lake City would need to be innovative, willing to examine our own practices, and open ourselves up to partnering with the community to achieve our goals. It has been less than a year since Growing SLC was adopted, but as you heard from Melissa, our team has been busy laying the groundwork for a more affordable future. I am most proud that through community support, this administration was able to secure an ongoing and stable funding source to invest in affordable housing. With a 5-year housing plan and the funding from the sales tax increase that was secured, the next few steps and many years to come will be a turning point in affordable housing in Salt Lake City. We know there is no single solution when it comes to promoting and preserving affordable housing. Our goal as a city is to become invested in the development of housing so that we can ensure affordability is included in as many projects as possible. We are here to announce 2 new programs to incentivize the development of affordable housing. The first is an expanded fee waiver program for mixed income developments. If adopted by the council, this program will fully waive impact, building permit, and plan review fees for developments which set aside at least 20% of units for households making less than $48,000 per year. This program is targeted at developers like Cowboy Partners who are already including affordable units in their projects. This full fee waiver program will help them pencil, as they say, more affordable units per project at a cost that also works for Salt Lake City. It's important to remember that every additional unit of affordable housing can be life-changing, something we'll hear more about in just a few moments from a new Liberty Avenue tenant, Connor Prescott. The second announcement we'd like to make is a new housing program to effectively minimize the loss of units. If adopted by the council, this new ordinance will replace an existing but inefficient policy that the city currently has. This is an area where the city looked very closely at our own practices and identified how we were contributing to the problem in the housing crisis. The new policy will require the replacement of housing stock if existing housing is demolished or removed by new development or is repurposed. This program is targeted at all income levels of housing because to address our crisis, we need to not only focus on affordability, but also availability. As we continue to move forward with GrowingSLC, we want the public to stay informed about the housing crisis we are in and what we are doing to address it. To that end, we have launched a new GrowingSLC housing dashboard on the city's new website. It will be a very useful tool for all residents. They'll be able to go to this dashboard and review what is happening. That dashboard will be very useful to not only residents, but community advocates, business leaders, elected officials, and it will provide high-quality data to drive decision-making, such as the average cost of rent per neighborhood, average income levels throughout the city, the percentage of renters versus homeowners, vacancy rates, and construction trends. While data and trends help us make thoughtful decisions, it is really the lives touched that keeps Salt Lake City's housing team inspired. I'd like to invite Connor Prescott up here, who lives here now with his partner Hannah, to share what an affordable housing opportunity meant to him. Prescott?
Hello, my name is Connor Prescott. I'm a tenant here. I just want to share a little bit of how we live here. We benefited from affordable housing here at Liberty Boulevard. My girlfriend and I'm from here in Utah, grew up by Park City. Hannah is from Colorado. We met down here in Salt Lake at a gym. So for me, my career, I'm a personal trainer. I'm starting my own business and also work another side retail job. Hannah works at the University of Utah daycare and also goes to school. She's going into nuclear medicine technology. We wanted to be close. to the university for Hannah for schooling. We look forward for a long time. We were trying to find a lot of places around Salt Lake that we could live. Nothing really in our price range. Everything was very far away. Everything was way too out of our price range. Then we heard about Liberty Boulevard. I had a friend that lived here. He said he lives here. We looked into all the accommodations, washer and dryer and units, parking especially. So we got ourselves on the waiting list. And a few weeks later, they had an opening for one spot, and we jumped on that as soon as we could. Overall, we're just a young couple starting out in our careers, me with my own business and personal training, and Hannah's still going through school, so it's really hard to find somewhere that we could afford, and it helps us develop our educations, get us through our careers. That way we have a little bit of money to spend, a little bit of money for other things. Also, it helps us be close down to Salt Lake City. There's a lot of things that Salt Lake City has to offer. We have really nice access to tracks that Hannah can take to school, or I can take anywhere downtown. So it helps us out, and it helps us live comfortably and effectively. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as you know, no city can do everything alone, and we certainly could not do affordable housing without developers who are willing to step up, figure it out, and get it done. So we're so thrilled to be here at Liberty Boulevard with Dan Lofgren and Cowboy Partners, and we want to give him just a minute to talk about why it matters.
Thank you, Mayor. Melissa, thank you, Connor. There's a couple reasons we should be celebrating today what the mayor's just announced. There's a couple levels from which we can view that and really celebrate. The first is where the rubber meets the road. Affordable housing is hard. It requires resources. And what the mayor's just announced puts more resources into the mix. Focus for just a moment on the idea of fee waivers. That's very real. That's very quantifiable. It's something a developer can count on at the front end and allow them to achieve even deeper targeting on the affordable piece they're trying to weave into a community like Liberty Boulevard, where 20% of our homes here are set aside for income-restricted households. Affordable housing, both the mayor and Melissa have talked about there's no one solution. Boy, that couldn't be more accurate. There is no one solution. Building the resources to do affordable housing is a little bit like, I suppose it's a little bit like making lasagna, right? I mean, it usually has layers. We're usually layering resources to try and achieve the targeting, to fill the gap that we need to fill. And what the mayor's just announced today are ingredients, are elements, are resources that will help us create a couple more of those layers and achieve that goal of deeper targeting and more affordable housing. But from a different level, that's rubber meets the road, the resources on the table, but from a different level, a little higher perspective, a little bigger picture. We need to celebrate that what's happening is Salt Lake City's becoming a place where it's clear that affordable housing and housing affordability, and those aren't necessarily the same thing, but affordable housing and housing affordability are valued. There's a culture that's emerging here. There's a climate that nurtures affordable housing, and we're so grateful for that commitment that's been expressed in very real terms this morning with the announcement of these two new programs. So, Mayor, thank you very much for what you're doing to support the efforts of folks like us who are trying to address the affordable housing needs in the city. There is so much about our community that gets better when we address the issues of housing attainability and housing stability. And this is a big, big step forward. So I hope you'll all join me in celebrating what the mayor's announced this morning.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. In closing, I think it's important to recognize that, I'm up here speaking, but it's really my team at Housing and Neighborhood Development that does the work, that finds the solutions. We work with the mayor to make sure that we align with policy and its planning and building services and engineering. The city is committed to this issue, and it's a great place to try to solve a problem when you have that commitment. So if my team will raise their hand so that we can just give you a round of applause quickly for all of your work. Special thanks to Jen Schumann and Tony Milner for organizing this event.